Hello and welcome to Property Matters. Today I'm joined by Gail McIntyre from McIntyre Properties. Thank you for joining me, Gail.
You're welcome.
So I've asked Gail to join us today for two reasons. One is she's one of our preferred real estate agents that we like to work with because we like to work with bespoke clients and smaller agencies. And the other reason is to get your insights into property in the marketplace and what's happening out there. So really to start off, it would be great to understand your background in real estate and property generally and to give some insights to everybody as to where you come from and what you've been up to.
Okay, thanks, Michelle. So I had set up McIntyre Properties about a year ago. Prior to that, I was a landlord for about 20 years myself. Wow. And prior to setting up McIntyre Properties, I did my training with another estate agency in Dundee. So I got that residential sales experience on top of the letting agency side of it. And then it just was a time that was just the right time for me to set up. And we're now at year one.
Amazing. Congratulations. I think I saw the birthday candle cake on socials recently. Yeah. And I guess with that, I hadn't realised you'd done 20 years in letting. So that's an interesting insight that you have for anybody that you're working with that maybe is an investor as well.
Yes.
So do you currently have letting properties still or
No.
Are they all done?
All done. I sold my last one last year. So now it's just purely residential sales now.
Okay, fantastic. And what areas are you covering at the moment?
At the moment, it's predominantly Dundee, but we are in Angus and we've been in Perth and Glasgow.
Wow.
So my first one in Montrose has just gone live as well. So that Tayside and North Fife area is definitely our focus.
Fantastic. And I know we're using you for our Kirriemuir projects.
Yes.
So fingers crossed that comes through shortly and we get some sales coming.
Absolutely.
So in terms of the marketplace today, what are you seeing happening out there? What's the key areas? What's sort of on trend right now?
I guess there's a whole mix of things at the moment. There's definitely a flurry at the moment of people actively looking and putting in offers, which is good. The first quarter of this year was good for us, and then the buyers for listing, and then the buyers have just started to come in April, which is a traditional time, I guess, for people looking to buy. And in the mix there, you've got a strong market for your first-time buyers. There's lots of incentives by the government and the banks and the lenders and all the rest of it to allow it to be more affordable for first-time buyers, which will just allow up the chain to kind of move, whether people are upsizing, downsizing further up the chain, and it just allows for that movement to happen. Also, I think on trend at the moment is there is a sensitivity around pricing at the moment. Luckily, most of our properties go for over value, which is good and what we always aim for. But it's whatever's right for our clients and what their objectives are, and we'll always keep that at the centre of everything that we do.
Yeah, I love that about you guys and the fact that it really is about a win-win for both sides and it's a collaboration rather than a service with a bill and that's it. It never feels that way when we're chatting.
Absolutely never will be with us. My whole life, my work experience is customer service from that Saturday girl job in the local shops in Dundee all the way through to now, whether it's in retail or whatever, it's the customer that's important. So if we need to change things or pivot a little bit in order to meet their objectives, that's what we'll do. Listen to the customer and you'll always do the right thing by them.
So is there a sticky point? I know last year at one point we were finding properties at that 250 and upwards weren't really moving very quickly and it was a bit sticky. Are you finding that that's moving now with the market moving, or is it still certain price points are moving quicker?
Yeah, there certainly is that, to be honest with you. But the right property in the right condition and the right location will sell still quite quickly. If the property is not in the right location or not in the right condition, then things have to kind of change to adjust. So either it takes a bit longer for it to sell, and that managing the customer's expectations around that is really important. So being aware of the local market, the data that's around there, and as a community within Dundee, whether it's the traditional estate agents that are out there or the new entrants like myself, being aware of what's going on to help your clients to make the right decision is always the right thing to do. The lower value properties can sometimes take as long if it's not the right condition. People do want to have a turnkey property and they'll pay a little bit more for that. But if they have a lot of work to do, then that may or may not take a bit more time.
Yeah, and like you said, the first-time buyers are getting sweeteners to buy,
Yes.
but they probably don't have 10, 15, 20,000 to do refurbs
Yes.
because they've just managed to get into the ladder in the first instance.
Yeah, absolutely. That is the case. Of if the client who's selling does need to do maybe a bit of freshen up of the paint, cleaning of carpets or replacing them if they're not too expensive, that can actually get them a bit more money
Yeah.
because the first-time buyer, doesn't have lots of money, but they don't have to think about putting in new kitchens or doing all the floorings, etc. So if that's done for them, then the property will potentially move a bit quicker.
Yeah, and I know that's our point really, is that when we do our properties, we try and make them the best quality to make it as easy as possible for someone to come in and just live there and make it a great home.
Absolutely, and your properties are absolutely stunning. To me, they're like luxury hotels.
Thank you. We did not bribe Gail to say that, but it is like we look at what would we love.
Yes.
Regardless of the price point.
Yes, and you definitely have brought that to life in your properties. So, yes.
Thanks. So I know we have a great relationship and we've known each other a while, but for some people getting involved in property at the very early stages, they can be a bit nervous of approaching real estate agents and starting those conversations, especially if they're just starting on looking for their first properties for investment, and they're a little bit nervous if they're doing it on their own and not doing it with a company such as ourselves. How would you sort of advise them to go about having a conversation with you and how to befriend, I guess, a real estate agent from the experience you've had before and now?
I think that's a really good question. I guess it comes back to my core values as a business person, and that is that community of property that's out there, and the relationships that you build are very important. So reach out to myself. And if you're new and you're looking at property and you just want maybe a valuation ran, we'll do that for you. I mean, that's just part of who we are in the space of property within the local area. Because sometimes if someone's looking, a developer that's maybe not as experienced as you guys are looking, then they'll think, I don't know what it'll resell at, just to make sure their figures add up. We'll help them out. We'll do all the data research for them, ping over reports and prices so they feel confident in their decision.
Amazing. And I think one of the challenges we have when we talk to people at first is they're like, I don't have time. So a big challenge they've got is finding the time to view multiple properties. I know, our team viewed 10 plus on site and maybe 30 or 40 on paper in a week. How are they able to reach out and have that conversation with you and get support with regards to that side?
We do off-market property. So because of the relationships you're talking about that we build up, we now have a whole bunch of developers that we reach out to and say, we've got this property. It's not going to be the usual on-market property. Do you want to have a nosy to see if it works for you? Other than that, if we have properties that are live and maybe been sticking a little while, then maybe there's an opportunity there for the seller and the developer to have a conversation with us to maybe get something over the line that suits everyone.
Fantastic. And do you give advice? This is a big one. Do you give advice on how to make it better? Because sometimes you can walk into a space, and I know we've done it, and you're like, I can't even get into the space because there's so much in the way. Maybe someone's got a hoarding problem, or just there's a lot of things in the property, or you go in and you just can't see how you can make it better. Are you able to give them insights into how to turn that around to make it something that someone would really want right now?
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. How you present your property is ultimately going to reflect directly in how quickly it sells and how much you get for it. So it's absolutely important to us that we are honest and support our clients around that. So if it is a really busy family house, as a lot of them are, there's kids and there's toys and all of the things that we have day to day, we just need to think, well, do we want to show this to the world, or do we want to clear the space and let the potential buyers see the space and how they might want to use it. And so a little bit of preparation, boxing up of things and tidying things away. And the hardest thing for clients is keeping it like that.
Yeah, you can imagine in a busy house with kids,
Oh,
it would be like, put your toys away, put your clothes
yes.
away. In fact, even in my house, put your clothes away would be a challenge. So.
It's hard. I really feel, when your property is getting ready for and it remains on the market till it's sold, it's a nightmare for people who are busy working people themselves and kids and animals and all the rest of it. But they do, on the whole, they do a tremendous job. So we give them that advice, give them some tips. We've actually ourselves got on our hands and knees and helped clients clean their carpets.
That's quality service and support there.
That's over staging it and doing the best we can. And we've got so many great successes around, doing that and selling properties quickly for clients.
And what is the average time right now? So you talk about selling quickly and getting traction. I know every location is slightly different, but what's the kind of average are you seeing in the marketplace right now for properties?
For a regular standard property in Dundee, because you're right, different places will take different times. But if I even see the ex-local authority areas, which are usually quite popular, I would say about 4 weeks, maybe 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
From my experience.
Which is pretty quick, to be fair. If someone's looking to purchase something and get things moving, it's a quick timeline for everybody involved. And then I'm guessing it's the 8 to 12 weeks once it's in legals and compliance.
Again, it depends who the solicitors are. It depends on what your buyers and your seller situation is. I mean, we've turned around house sales in 3 weeks.
Wow.
Because that's what's right for all the clients. But on average, I think we should say about 8 weeks once the property has an offer, it's accepted.
It's always the challenge.
I don't want to stress out all the conveyances out there.
No, it's always the challenge to get the offer accepted in the first place, isn't it? I know getting hold of sellers and getting everybody on the same page can definitely be one of the hardest parts of the process.
It is. But do you know what? I really enjoy it. So if I've got a chain, or even if I don't have a chain, I always want to speak to the buyer's solicitor. I want to speak to the buyer's mortgage person so that I know when we've got a date secured that everyone is working towards that date. So it's over and above, I know, but at least I know for my client, I'm mitigating any potential issues.
It's confidence, isn't it, for you? Confidence in the purchase and also that you're doing the best by everybody involved.
Yep, absolutely.
So there was a post yesterday on LinkedIn. I saw there was some exciting announcements about new services for you guys today.
Yes.
So would you like to share what's happening?
Yes, so as this marks the start of our second year in business, and we've had a tremendous first month of that year with sales of 1.7, but I said 1.6 on socials.
Amazing.
And so I just thought it was a celebration time, but also just thinking about all the different clients and all their situations. Was there an opportunity to introduce products that would work for people that are a bit more fixed on their budget?
Okay.
So we've launched this new product where there's criteria that applies. I need to say that to you, but where there's no upfront estate agency costs.
Okay,
so
fantastic.
Your usual marketing fee, we can defer that for you. And it is also fixed estate agency fees, so you know what you're paying at the end. So for some clients, this is really important, and we've negotiated other kind of cost-saving opportunities for clients as well, because we are still in a really cost-conscious time and people have not got tons of money. So we, as a citizen of our city and the area, and as a company operating within that, there's things we can do.
That's fantastic to see your values as a person coming through the business in that way, and that you're supporting those in the community who maybe are in challenging situations. I know some of the purchases we've done have been people who really need to sell, and we've paid legal fees and we've done different things to support them during that time to make it as seamless and as easy as possible.
Absolutely.
And that's around really caring about the people and not just the profit.
Yes, 100%. If you don't do that, I mean, our little logo, I guess, is we are small enough to care, big enough to matter, because it is about caring and understanding each client's situation. What can we do? What can't we do? And I would always encourage any clients that are looking to sell that are a bit tighter on their budget, to speak to us to see if we can do something, and you still get the same great service. That's not gonna fall to the side.
No, because that's a fundamental of what you are as an organisation,
Yeah,
isn't it?
that's true.
You're about people, you're about service and quality.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I think we choose to work with you is that caring piece.
Yeah.
There's a presumption that we're all in it for the money, and you're like, we are all in business and we do want to make profit,
Yeah.
but not at the sacrifice of somebody else and their situation.
Yeah.
So those shared values are one of the reasons that we absolutely collaborate together.
Yeah, great, good.
So is there any top tips you would give somebody right now if they were looking to invest in property?
Yeah.
What are the key top buys right now that would get them quick sales, good returns?
I think the properties that are out there that are maybe part of an estate, that is being sold on, often there's refurbishment opportunities there. As I said before, people ideally will pay, if they're not first-time buyers, they'll pay a little bit more for a property that's done.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can rip out carpets, put in new kitchens, and there's enough in the budget to do that and for you to make a profit as a developer, then you will enhance the profit margin between what you buy and what you sell it at. Reach out to us because we can also advertise on your behalf. So if there is an area, for example, then we'll put something on our socials around that, and any off-market opportunities as well. There's usually quite a bit of money to be made there because there's a lot of work to be done.
Yeah, definitely. And I think one of the things we picked up recently is quite a few non-standard constructions turning up right now, which does lead to investor purchase because they're not normally mortgageable or the mortgage is at a lower value percentage. Is that something you are seeing come into the marketplace more frequently, and how do you support somebody in that purchase process?
Yes, I've sold a lot of non-traditional properties, and some of them you can get mortgages on and some that you can't. And it's usually your buy-to-let investors, potentially, if the work doesn't need done, to then buy it, refurbishment and rent it. So it could be either those clients, developers, or the buy-to-let market. They have the cash and then they can afford to buy it and then rent it out at an affordable price as well. Yeah,
the rental market on those is still the same as it is on a standard, but you've paid significantly less to purchase quite often. So the return on cash on cash return is really good.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to share with regards to the property market or you guys as a business, like what's coming up next? How are you going to continue to grow and expand?
Yes, I mean, certainly the property market, looking and working with some of the leaders in this space in Dundee and the surrounding areas, is that with anticipated interest rate drops, we're hoping
fingers crossed
will happen, but you just don't know. That will maybe give a bit more confidence to people. There's also in the Dundee area, especially into Angus, they are planning to see an end of year increase in properties coming to the market and buyers. There is still more of a demand, I think, than there is potentially a supply at the moment. And also what we're seeing is there's a lot more properties on the market before people view, because they could take that a little bit longer if they're a higher price point. So I think for us, that provides a challenge because our supply of new listings often can come from people that are viewing. Now, if they've already got the property on the market, then there's not that opportunity for us, if they want to buy the property that we are selling, to list theirs and manage that whole chain. So always being close to that insight and then thinking as a business, how do we then adapt to that? So for us, as we grow, and we are one of the fastest growing estate agents in the area, internally we're changing our structure to ensure that our customer experience is going to be maintained as we grow. And we're going into different areas, which is good. So as I said, Montrose. And then we're diversifying our clients. It's not just our buying residential clients, it's clients like your business as a developer, and to look at how we can almost work, across the different streams of potential clients because we're speaking with people that are looking to sell but maybe don't want to put on the open market for whatever reason, and then matching them up with developers. So there's a lot more as we step into year 2 that we can do and enhance what we did in the first year.
Amazing. You've had such a success in the first year, and I know from our conversations we've had and the work you've put in, that's going to continue as you move forward. And I can't wait to see what this year does for you guys, and also for us, because we're doing some things together.
Yes.
So, you know, the opportunity for us to purchase from you and also to sell with you is a great space that we're in, and we're really happy to have that relationship with you.
Great. And likewise here.
Okay, so that's it for today, guys. If you have any questions and you'd like to reach out to Gail, you can find her on the socials and we'll pop them in the links below for you. And I just want to say thanks again, Gail, for joining me.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Michelle.